I also got one tight slap.
He asked me a question that, Anubhav, are we recreating 1999? How are we doing it? And I said, no, we are not recreating 99.
I was very excited to see what actually happens once I finish shooting, because all I was looking at is a green screen while I was shooting.
He also perceives me, Anubhav perceives me as a person who's like very precise and very neat and tidy. And he's like, ये जो neat and tidy दिया है, इसको हटा दो.
मेरे लिए कहानी बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट थी कि आप इतनी बड़ी कहानी का हिस्सा बन रहे हैं, वो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है क्योंकि ऐसी कहानियाँ कम ही आती हैं आपके हिस्से.
Just about how I felt inside the aircraft. We were about 100 of us plus the crew, and it was very claustrophobic.
Hello and welcome to News 18 Showsha. Today we have with us the amazing cast and the beautiful ladies of IC-814 and the director Anubhav Sinha. Sir, thank you so much for joining us on News 18, guys.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. I have to say the series, as far as I've seen so much for so far, has been unbelievable. It's breathtaking with everybody's actions. I mean, the way of acting. I mean, the direction himself. How did you conceptualize this, sir? Like, how did you come to the scale कि ये करना है?
ये करना है was actually decided by Sarita Patil at Matchbox and Monica and Netflix team here. And they worked on it for a few years before it was offered to me. But until then it was based on a book by the Captain Devi Sharan, Flight into Fear. And it was largely about the people in the aircraft. So after I came on board, I read it. It was wonderful, it was beautiful. But it was raising a lot of questions in my head as to what's happening down there, what's going on.
Definitely.
And that's when I requested Netflix that I want to open it up. And they were kind enough to allow me to do that. And then, a rewrite happened.
Okay.
Because then it just went out everywhere. And yeah, so that was that. And part of your question can be answered by another question that my DOP Yuvan asked me in terms of conceptualizing it the way it looks. Was he asked me a question that, Anubhav, are we recreating 1999? How are we doing it? And I said, no, we are not recreating 99. It is happening again. We are sending our equipment and crew back then.
Okay.
So it will be shot and cut and it will look in a contemporary manner, but we will not do anything to the way it happened.
Right.
The staging of it, the people of that time and things like those. So that's the reason why it looks and feels contemporary to you. It's today's editing and it's today's filming. But you still find the essence of period in it and the authenticity, if I may call it. That's how it all panned out in a nutshell.
No doubt. Vijay, my next question is to you. You play the captain in the series. It's not. I mean, there are no doubts that you're a versatile actor. But then there was a lot of VFX this time in front of you. How challenging was it?
I mean, I couldn't see any of the VFX when I was shooting. I was very excited to see what actually happens once I finish shooting, because all I was looking at is a green screen while I was shooting. And secondly, part of the reason I felt like this screenplay was awesome because here we are in the cockpit and in the aircraft. Cockpit primarily with me and in the aircraft with Patralekhaa and 180 other passengers and other crew members. So that was their world. Cockpit was my world. And then there was this huge world that I will not get to see on set, but I will be a very eager audience too when it comes out. So I went in thinking कि इसमें कुछ ऐसे कलाकार हैं जिनको मैं भगवान मानता हूँ. वो लोग सब scenes create करेंगे ऐसे डायरेक्टर के साथ जिनका काम मैं बहुत पसंद करता हूँ. तो I felt as an audience I would be very excited to watch this. That was one of the primary reasons that I was waiting to watch the show. I got to see some episodes just like you, and I'm absolutely very proud of it.
Damn nice. First of all, like he says, you're a flight attendant in the series. What was the most challenging thing to you when it comes to such kind of a period tale that has already happened? It's a real life incident that has happened, and you have to probably live that character again.
I think we should be. We didn't want to imitate anything. We were inspired by it, and our take is not. I can talk about myself. It's not. It's what I feel about the character, and how Anubhav sir sees her. We are trying to recreate the space and not imitate it. It's Sir's figment of imagination of how Indrani would be reacting to the situation.
No doubt. Diya ma'am, you're playing us, if I could say so. What was the brief that you got from him when you were in your character?
I think the first thing that both of us had great fun working on was how she would look.
Okay.
I think that was super fun putting together because Anubhav was very clear that he didn't want beauty to be a distraction.
Okay.
And he wanted her to be. He also Anubhav perceives me as a person who's like very precise and very neat and tidy, and he's like, ये जो neat and tidy दिया है इसको हटा दो. So in just the way even she wears her palla, or the way the hair is, so there's a lot of thought that has gone into that. Nothing is incidental, and this has happened actually for the first time in our collaboration, that he's paid so much attention to the way this character looks. Normally we just kind of and it works, right? You as an actor work with the costume team to figure out where you want to go, but this was the first time he really got involved with that. And interestingly, when we cracked that, something happened. And I've played a journalist before.
Right.
So for me as an artist, what I was most interested in at this stage was knowing what it was like for women in journalism at the time. Were there enough women editors? How unique was her opportunity to not only be the editor of a publication, a newspaper, but simultaneously also be setting up a TV reporting channel, like a news channel. And that duality, and also of course the interactions I have with Amrita Puri, and for me the writing there was so interesting, and the layers and the nuance there. And all one wants to do is bring honesty and integrity to the moment that you are offered.
True.
And to do it with as much grace as one can, right?
No doubt.
So that's what one tried. Yeah.
Nice. Kumud sir, how has your experience been on this show so far? We see you, as a raw officer, if I'm not wrong. And, you have interactions with people like Nasir sir and other people in the cast as well. How was your experience overall?
Lucky man.
मेरे लिए कहानी बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट थी कि आप इतनी बड़ी कहानी का हिस्सा बन रहे हैं, वो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्योंकि ऐसी कहानियाँ कम नहीं आती हैं आपके हिस्से, और इतने बेहतरीन अभिनेता कम आते हैं आपके हिस्से. तो ये सारा पूरा पैकेज बहुत मज़ेदार था करने के लिए. तो
it made a difference for you.
Yes,
Definitely. Anubhav sir, drawing from his answer, you have a stellar cast in the show. How easy or how challenging at the same time was it to bring all of these characters and all of these stalwarts together?
As unbelievable it may sound, it wasn't difficult. It just kept falling in place. And it's serendipitous that, someone agrees to the part and he's also available, and the look that you want. So, imagine Pankaj Bhai was sporting a big beard. Then he wouldn't fit the part of a minister like that. So everything fell in place. So while it's a privilege that this happened, and it's one of the bigger privileges a director will have in his life, in his career, it wasn't very painstaking. But having them on set and a lot of them are my personal friends. It was joy, privilege, and immense amount of responsibility to give back to them whatever they can have back.
All right.
An actor gives, but he gets back from a director. So you cannot leave him underutilized. You cannot not juice him in his potential and his scope enough. That was an immense responsibility. And strangely, I think there was some bizarrely beautiful energy that was floating on the set, that the time just flew by like this and leaving everyone happy and satisfied.
Yeah.
True.
I remember having a chat with Nasir Bhai and Pankaj Bhai on camera, and they ended up saying one of the best experiences ever. Now, they've been working for decades, and they've worked with everybody. Now, that's an honor. That's something that takes me to sleep almost every night with happiness.
No doubt. Vijay, you are the main character as well when it comes to being a captain. When you were perceiving this role, what did you perceive the captain would be like from the book, or from what you were thinking what the captain would be, or was it Anubhav sir's vision? Which three characters did you choose?
He spent time with the captain.
Yeah.
So I didn't read the book.
All right.
I read the script. I had discussions with Anubhav sir, and we figured that it's Anubhav sir telling the story. So we will go with what the director is looking at, like his directions. But I still wanted to meet the gentleman, and just to get us feeling of what kind of a person he is, and just get to the little maybe scan him as an individual, as a man, and see if I can receive something from there.
Did you?
Yeah, I was able to. There was an innate sense of sincerity. It's not wrong to say that there was a lot of nobility in his presence, and his commitment to his work is probably so polished and so crystal clear that he was able to not just go through this ordeal and bring everybody except one passenger back, but he went back and started flying after 4 days of this incident, which says a lot about a person.
No doubt.
So yeah, just meeting him and being in the flight simulation center with him, seeing him interact with the cockpit and with the aircraft, and seeing him walk me through the landings that he did, and the situations that he was in, helped me a great deal. So I don't think I was trying to imitate him, but I was trying to get an essence. एक base note जो होता है perfume में, उसके top notes और middle notes मेरे हैं, but base note is Captain Devisha.
And talking about that, most of the characters in the series are based on real life characters, but the way I approached is that they are approximations of those characters. We are not trying to recreate the look of that person or the demeanor of that person. We just took sometimes some of these characters that you see are a combination of two individuals actually.
Yeah,
true.
So I have there were two individuals, I made them into one. But it's an approximation of what both of them meant to the event.
Okay.
So it's the event that has driven and the way one wanted to tell the story that these characters were created. So like he very beautifully put it, then when you play a chord on a piano, there are 3 different notes. But so the one of those notes is the real individual, but there are 2 other decoratory accompaniments.
Definitely. That's very well put. Patralekhaa, coming to you, what is that one aspect that will, probably stay with you from the series?
Just about how I felt inside the aircraft. We were about 100 of us, plus the crew. And it was very claustrophobic. And
you never, I've heard this enough now. You have never,
yeah, she didn't
you
speak.
never told us.
I think I understood
this
a little bit.
claustrophobia of it.
no, but it was claustrophobic.
It was?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you were inside at some point.
Yes.
And the air condition also had to be switched off.
At times it became too cold sometimes.
Too cold
or for the sound.
plus for the sound. Yeah, so I really did feel a certain way after the show got over, like my shooting got over, and it took me like a week to really come out of it. Also, I fell ill. We all were ill.
Yeah.
So I had like some 101 degree or something fever.
And you took an 11-hour flight the same night you packed up.
Yeah. But anyway, nonetheless, after a point, your mind switches off and you're just there.
True.
You know, and that process was tough. Obviously, hopefully, I'll never be in a hijack situation, but this felt very eerily real.
Okay. I'll tell you what you're missing. Like you completely, your character was going through a certain emotional turmoil and some emotionally difficult situation because of she has an ailing father at home.
Yeah.
And she's now every day the flight is getting delayed. So I think Patra was really she was trying to commit to it so much, and she was there, and I think part of that emotional space made that experience very claustrophobic for you. You know?
But I don't
But
know
that's
how
what
come you guys
acting is
didn't
about.
feel
Yeah.
claustrophobic.
No, we
That's
did.
exactly what
But you seem
it is.
affected.
It is
But you
about
seem affected
putting-
I
because
was
I
affected.
remember.
I had spoken
No,
about
but it happens.
really
But-
affected
I felt like
me.
this when I did
Exactly.
Kafir. It happens.
yeah.
Sometimes you just...
But you completely ignored that part of the.
Also, your
The journey.
Chale jate
You
ho
think
uske
the father
The
was
father
a
angle
pivotal
was
when
keeping you
Nahi, no.
completely
Sure,
in a
but
very-
also the whole
मस्ती कर रहे थे.
even the toilet situation really
No, but the show, I think the
I've been
show for
speaking about
them,
it.
for Vijay and Patra, the shoot experience would have been entirely
Correct,
different
Yeah.
from our shoot experience.
Definitely. No
You
doubt.
know, because
For the
I
entire
mean,
crew.
every time I hear, we were eating great food, we were having a blast. In between shots, there was banter and laughter and masti. And
and they were in Jordan eating
No,
Middle
and
Eastern food.
also at some point, I'm not going to dwell. There were some gory situations.
Definitely.
Also
no, of
happening.
course, they were really...
So
I've seen it. I
Yeah.
mean, the two reactions when you turn back to the passenger and when
Yeah.
she sees the passenger for the first time,
Yeah.
those reactions seem very natural, no doubt. Ma'am, coming to you now, this is something that I've seen recently at the trailer launch. Ma'am, he very beautifully asked you his consent to even place his hand for a picture. How important is that aspect today?
It's not about today. I think it's
been
something that
forever.
have always existed, and that's the difference between a gentleman and somebody who's not a gentleman. It's as simple as that.
Simple.
No doubt. Okay, Anubhav sir, one last question to you. What are your future projects? What can we expect from you next?
I'm working on some scripts. It now again is a departure from, so you can call it my third innings now.
That we are all going to hijack him if he doesn't
Yeah?
cast us in.
So this is more big picture experience, big screen, some action, some visual effects, but still a film with a
Paths
voice.
breaking again like Ravan?
Not like Ravan. Ravan was something else, but yeah, bigger films. Bigger films is the mantra.
Kumud ji say mera to pakka hai.
Kumud ji is like, I'm
He's
getting
like,
on
"Yeah,
fat
I'm
burners
getting on
and
fat
getting a
burners."
six-pack. He's already got a chisel.
He's like,
Stop
he's
making
saying,
that
"मैं
chisel, jawline, check out the chisel. Are you seeing the chisel?
Slow motion walks and music. I want to do
Collar
music.
ko
I want to
thoda
do VFX. I want to do action.
Oh, also, I'm missing out another major point. I also got one tight slap in the show.
Yeah, in the show.
Yeah.
किसने
See,
मारा
it's been a year.
And I'm-
Now I'm
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
And you're like, she
I
walked
have
in,
a
she said,
problem.
nobody has ever slapped me in my life.
I have a problem with slap shooting in films. We fake it. So we tried faking it with her a couple of times, and
Then-
it didn't. Like in Thappad, Tapsi got
Yeah.
slapped like 15 times.
I know
And
this the
real
pleasure.
slap.
Listen, 1 second. I take the gentleman thing back.
But in this case, you know what happens is if you don't get contact,
Yeah.
you do not get the response.
Yeah.
Because the response is not
What
only
you
of
see
hurt.
in the eyes.
It's not only of hurt, it is of humiliation.
Yeah.
That is very difficult to create without at least a minor contact.
Yeah.
Because
अब उसने लाइफ में ही नहीं खाया तो where will she draw that experience from?
And also, sir had already told me, Tapsi got
You
to
also
win
said.
this, that.
You also said,
No,
"Maro, maro, maro."
No. Then I was like, come on,
I will
let's
give you
go for
great-
it. I was like, just slap. And my co-actor was,
वो बेचारे उनकी
Obviously.
जान निकली होती है.
yeah, it's not about the person who's
Yeah,
getting
getting
slapped.
hit.
It's the person who's giving the slap.
He's prepping for his next role already, I'm telling you.
आप
in the back and slapping himself.
मुझे मेरा एक्सक्लूसिव लगाओ स्टार्ट का मैं दूंगा पूरे एक्शन क्योंकि लाइफ में खा रखे हैं
हाँ.
हमने इतना
इसने
खाए
खाए नहीं है बेचारी ने
कि गाल सुन्न हो चुका है।
मेरे बाप मुझे
इसको पहला लाइफ का चाटा आपके चक्कर में पड़ा है
ये अनुभव तो अद्भुत है।
ये अनुभव
हमारी
चाटे
पिटाई
तो
तो.
बड़े थे.
पढ़े थे
Of
पढ़े थे
course.
तो फिर क्या ना
फिर कितना
Let's do that shot again then.
आज ही.
आपको बताओ
All right. On that note, guys, thank you.
Thank you.
ह्यूमिलिएशन की है
ह्यूमिलेशन।
दिखाओ
आपने जो मारा था उनको मनोज पावा को मारा था आर्टिकल 15 में वो रियल मारा था. टच किया था.
थोड़ा सा टच किया।
सो वो स्लो
पूरा मारने में डर रहा था।
अल्ट्रा स्लो मोशन
Okay.
अल्ट्रा स्लो मोशन
All right,
having
no
too
worries.
much fun.
No, that's okay. On that note, thank you so much, guys, and all the best for IC-814.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you so
really
much.
enjoy the rest of the show.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you।
जिंदाबाद.